Hi. Okay, so this is the character I'm about to weight map. We're using our weight brush tool. It's a very basic little character. It's a subdivision object, so just so you can see, I can obviously up that to a higher resolution. It doesn't matter whether you paint on it in low res or high res, the maps will transfer across as you subdivide for rendering, etc. So that's the first thing. So the key thing here is we're in layout, so we're not in modeler. So in order to actually activate the weight brush, you have to have the object highlighted. So if I click on that, nothing will happen, but if I highlight the object, click weight brush, up comes the weight brush. Just so we know, I've had a little practice or done half the body just to really make sure I can, not going to make too many mistakes. So you can see there we've got the hand on the right hand side already done, and I'm about to do the body and the right hand arm. So here's our weight brush tool. There's our mesh. All I need to do is highlight a couple of points, and then I can contract that out so it's the whole of the main body part of the object. And then I choose how I want my weight brush, and then I just paint that. Done. So that's my the weight brush done for the main body. So I want that to be solid. I don't want to have any bend in it, so that's why I've got it 100% red. Pretty basic. So if I go to the left arm, click on a few points, expand that out. So you can just use the bracket keys or the contract expand on the interface. So I'm just contracting out the arm. Again, paint, done. I can have that paint more visible or less visible depending on what I want, just by doing the overlay and adjusting that. So again, very easy. So now let's go to the hand. So I'm going to unhighlight unhighlight that. So if I click on the hand, just expand that out, do the whole hand at this stage. I'm going to paint. That's done. That's the left hand. I'm actually going to do the mitten of that hand separately. So the mitten of that hand is this little bit here. So if I just do a little point there, I can expand that out. Little error there, don't want that one. So I click Control and click. If I don't do that, if I just click, I can paint on it anywhere. But I'm just trying to be a little bit neat about it. Have a look underneath. It's more or less where I want it to be. Make sure there's nothing here. That's all good. Okay, so now I'm going to paint that, and you can see where it graduates automatically into the other brush. You can see that there. So that's done. So now I'm going to just unhighlight that, and now go to the let's go with the index finger. So highlight that. That's fine. So it's the index finger paint. I'm happy with that. Sorry, I keep making the same mistake. And now I'm going to do the thumb. So let's just expand that out. Probably want to be a little bit tidier here. I don't want that to go into this part. So again, Control down, unhighlight the bits I don't want. Make sure I've got everything I do want. So I'm just going to pull that back into view a little bit. Make sure I'm not. Yeah, that's probably fine. Cool. So that's that. Paint that. You can see that now blending into the other mesh. So really easy. So that's the arm done. I now want to do the leg. So let's go to the left leg. Oh, I've already done that. Okay. Did I do the left foot? Let's have a look. Yeah, I've done that as well. Okay, so I've done everything now. So I've basically now weight brushed the whole thing. So a couple of things. You don't have to weight brush. You can obviously do the rigging, then do the weight brush. But I found, having done a couple of tests with it early on, that actually weight brushing the whole setup just makes it a lot quicker. So weight brush first, in my opinion, and then you set up your rig. Cool. Hi, so second stage, I've done the weight brushing. As you probably saw, it's only the second time I've ever done weight brushing, so that's pretty easy. So what I'm now going to do is rig it. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do a few little bits just to show you the basic core principle of how it works. So just bear in mind, I'm going to load a rig in that's a more complicated rig than I need, and then I'm going to delete bits I don't really need on the rig. So first and foremost, I highlight the object. So you've got to have the object highlighted in order to load the Rhiggit bodybuilder. So let's load the bodybuilder. Let's call this sugar cube, and there we go. And just go bang and create rig. So now that's actually building a rig and recognizing basically the ground plane and getting the rig ready for me to actually now fit to the object. So there's our basic rig. So my scale is pretty big, so let me just shrink that down a bit and pull back a little bit. There we go. And now I'm going to just size this down so I can get roughly where I want it to be. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, that's fine, maybe a little bit bigger. Yep, that would do it. Okay, so that's going to be my rig sort of starting position. That's where I'm going to build my rig from. All right, so done the first bit of it. So now what I really need to do is just zoom in a little bit. I click on the first joint and just move that into position. So I've got it centering on the bone I'm actually on, just so it makes it a little bit easier for me to place. So I want that bone to be there. And as you see, if I move this around, you can see it's changing the other side automatically. All right. So I want it to be roughly right on the joint of the body. That's fine. Go around. Let's do the now the knee. So move the knee forward a little bit. Have a look at it from the side or miles out. Let's put that there. Actually, just go back to that one. Oops. Sorry, my mistake. There we go. And then move that back a little bit. There we go. Okay, happy with that. Go back to that joint. So bear in mind, I've only done this really once before, so this is all new to me. I'm sure obviously other people out there are probably screaming at the screen. Obviously they will know more about rigging and more about what you can do than I'm doing here, but it kind of gives you at least a flavour. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So let's just move this joint here. So I want that roughly where the ankle would be. Take the main foot, stretch that out, lower that down so that's roughly by the floor plane, maybe a little high. There we go. I'm happy with that, that's fine. So there's our basic leg done in no time at all. It's good, happy with that. So now let's do the arm joints. So I'm obviously going to have a quick look at that. Yeah, there's my main joint I want to play with. So let's move that roughly into position. So there's my arm joint there. Cool. And Yep, happy with that. Actually, that's a bit high. There we go. So that's so this will automatically use the weight brushing that I've done. So yeah, pretty easy to sort of get this to where you want it. I don't know whether, yeah, I can. There we go. Let's get that up there. Now, obviously, I don't particularly want all of these bones here. I've got too many. As you can see, I've got 5 fingers, and or 4 fingers and a thumb, and then I've got here 2 fingers and a thumb. So I want to get rid of a few. So let's click on the M1. And I'm going to delete that. So that's the first one done. Get rid of that one. And so now we've got our basic fingers done. So I'm going to move the hand to get that really where I want it by the knuckle. Just want to check that. Oh, probably a little bit too far over. So let's get it right back over here. Oh, I've still got that bone there. So it's that one I really want. And basically now it's a question of just moving these into position, you know, where I want things to be. You know, and keep on going, basically hands, fingers, feet, thumb, you know, keep on just basically moving things around. You know, very easy to do, very, sorry, I should have moved it that way. Let's move that back there. And then rotate that. You get the idea. So fundamentally, you just basically move the bones to where you want it and get rid of anything you don't want. So if you don't want these top bits, you can just delete them. But fundamentally, that's how you do your rigging. And remember, you do it on one side, the other side will basically do that automatically. I'm obviously going to tidy this up for a bit longer, but fundamentally, that's how simple it is to control Rhiggit. Okay, so I've now spent the best part of an hour messing with the rig. So I've now got the feet done how I want it. I've got the hands done. Everything's where I want. I pretty much deleted everything I need to delete. So it's pretty much now ready to finish the construction basis on the model. So just make sure I've got the geo highlighted. So bodybuilder, and now all I need to do is now fit that rig. So it's ready to go. So click fit, rig fit, and literally it's now rigged that and set that up. So basically we now have, let me just go to rotate. So I've now got a rig that I can just move around, do what I want with. Let's just undo that, and obviously leg-wise, you can also, you know, lift up the leg and, you know, rotate the foot if that's what you want to do. All of that's basically set up, ready to go. One other thing while we're here, which is kind of just worth doing, you can see there's the rig. If you click on the properties, obviously I want to up the subdivision, so let's make it a little bit of a finer mesh. The weight maps will work with that completely fine, nothing will change, all of that is good. So if I just to prove that point, obviously, I can rotate that round as I see fit. We obviously can also restrict the movement, so you can set the movement so it doesn't go beyond certain constraints, so you can't break your model if that's what you want to do. A couple of other things just to bear in mind. This main piece here is really the mover for the whole of your model, but it also can be used for, if you want to spin your model round, you can use it as a very easy way of stopping gimbal lock. I'm not sure whether that's how it was designed or why it was designed that way, but if you want to do a backflip, you obviously can animate the whole character and then use that bottom to flip it round, and then you won't actually have any gimbal lock problems. So again, really nice feature for me, works perfectly, and I'll try to show you how that's used shortly when I start messing with the actual animation. By the way, all the joints here are very easy to move and set up. You can see their angle of movement is set up here. I've got them restricted on different angles, but you can not have them more fluid than that if you wish, and you can see the weight maps are working perfectly. Again, if it was me, I'd probably restrict the movement so it doesn't go back beyond a certain point. It will just make life considerably easier when you animate later on and start getting the character into poses and those sort of things. So you can see very quickly, very easy to do the basics of the animation. Oh, did that round the wrong way. I broke his arm. Anyway, there we go. And now I'm about to go on and add the eyes separately. So I haven't included them in the rig because I want to have them attached to the model, but I want to animate them completely separately. So I'm going to go and do that, and then I'll come back and do a little piece of animation or show you the basics of how you actually animate with it. So there we go, that's our rig, very easy to use, fingers, everything is done, brilliant. Okay, so we're on the last leg. Now I've got it fully set up, I've got everything set up where I'd want to start animating from. Just want to talk through a couple of things I've done here, which is my personal preference with this object. Obviously with more complex objects you'll probably want to use the rig that's included, but in this case what I've got here is I've just got a very simple setup where I can blink, and I can't go beyond a certain point, so I can very quickly do blink motions. I've set up the eyebrows so that they can just be rotated as I see fit and as I need to. I've also set up a little motion thing here where they can only move a certain distance. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And so again, just sort of restrict the movements and so on. So a couple other things. Over on here, actually if we go to one of these things, basically you can switch off any viewable objects if you want to switch them off. So here's a good place to do it. So if there's anything left in the scene that you don't particularly want to see, you can just switch it off and get rid of it. The second thing is also on the rig itself. So let's just click on that. Let's go motions. So here I've also set up limitations on the rig. That's just on the M on the keyboard for motions. So here I've got on the rig, I've got it restricted so it can't go back beyond that, forward beyond that, can't go further around than there or there, and you don't have to live with that. You can go back and switch things off at any time, but generally when you're animating, it just gives you a way of speeding up the process of putting together your animation, and it means you can then animate faster. I've also done the same with the legs. So so on the feet here I've got them, let's just turn that so you can see that. I think I've got that on position. I've just got it limited so they don't go into the body and they don't go down below the floor. All right, so it makes it just a little easier to move. Second thing is obviously as you pull up the rig, it will stay and point down to its feet connectors, but it makes it very easy if you set it up like that to do the basics of your animation and give you the ability to sort of very quickly animate. So if so for instance I can run a couple of keyframes here, have him look around a little bit, so he goes there, maybe stays looking there for a few seconds or a few frames should I say, and then pull him up again, a little hold, So very in really seconds, we've done just I mean, it's obviously a very basic piece of animation, but you can see very quickly that you are able to actually animate the character easily and fast. I'm going to post the sugar cube up at some stage, so maybe we'll do a competition to see what animations you guys can do with it. I designed it originally, or wanted it originally as a slapstick character for a movie we were trying to make, which we never got to make. And the idea was these little guys would be the brunt of loads of visual gags in the background of the film where the main characters were. Literally they're designed to be, messed with and played with, so, to hopefully destroy and generally do bad things to. So if you fancy it, we'll put that up, and then you can have a play with it. I'll show you in a few seconds. Actually, I'll just load it now. So that's basically how you operate it. I've spent probably in total with the weight brushing and the rigging and then the character animation in total, I've spent probably about 5 or 6 hours doing the next piece of animation I'll just load and show you. So let me just load that. Let's have a look here. I think it's that one. Let's load this up. So I've done here a complete piece of animation and just push play. So it's just a jump. And it jumps over, and then the logo. Oh, the poo-poo comes out his bum. But anyway, shouldn't have done that really. Childish humour. But anyway, so that's taken me. I suppose the total of that has probably been, I've spent an hour each time. So I did the first jump in an hour, left it, next day came back, did that jump, probably spent about 40, 50 minutes on that. It was more complicated than I thought. So doing that. And then I've spent probably 2 or 3 hours doing this last bit. There we go. I'll attach this to the sequence. You can see it all, and then hopefully you'll go away and do something significantly better. Hope you've enjoyed it. Not really a tutorial, but give you a little bit of a guide of how to use it. I'm sure someone will come back with a much better tutorial and a much better explanation of how these things work. But if I can do it, and this is only the second major stint I've had with it, anyone can do it. So bear in mind, I've never rigged before, and I haven't character animated anything for 9+ years, and in fact for the last 6 or 7 years all I've been doing is animating engines. So literally anyone can do it. So I hope you enjoy it, have some fun with it, and send in your animations. Obviously we want to see what you do. Thanks ever so much. Bye.